What's a lovely vacation without a creepy ghost story? Given that modern humans have lived in Europe for approximately 50,000 years, it is not surprising that there are hundreds of them on the continent alone. For example, it is thought that if you stand outside the Roman Colosseum and remain silent, you may be able to hear the sound of swords clashing or someone whisper in your ear. If you want to appreciate the view from the Eiffel Tower, you might hear the screams of a woman who was pushed from the top by her boyfriend after declining his proposal. So if you enjoy gloomy tourism, the 5 haunted sites on this list will tick all of your scary boxes. Kontos Mansion. Ano Laconia, a little village in Greece, is well known for its steam train, which takes travelers on an unforgettable journey up the mountain. However, there is also the Kontos Mansion, which is reputed to be one of the most haunted locations in the country. According to a weird urban tale, the Kontos family's children died after drinking from a jug of milk containing a dead lizard. However, this was actually a fabricated story designed to distract from the reality that the 3 youngsters had contracted tuberculosis. Long after the incident, the Nazis controlled the home and tortured Greek activists in the huge basement. The mansion also functioned as the Nazi headquarters. When peace returned to Greece, successive inhabitants who attempted to repair Kontos Mansion not only heard inhuman cries and moans coming from the walls and cellar, but they also died in predictable ways. Today, the abandoned mansion attracts a continuous stream of tourists, though most do not dare to get too close. Daliborka Tower. The Czech Republic is simply a fantastic destination to visit. You'll find fairy tale-like castles, delicious beer, and breathtaking green spaces. However, with the magnificent comes the eerie, particularly in the city, Prague. Inside the Prague Castle complex is the famed Daliborka Tower, which was originally used as a prison for noble offenders. The tower was also called for its first prisoner, a knight known as Dalibor. The knight was a beloved prisoner because he used to hide peasants in his home, out of sight of the police. While imprisoned in the tower, Dalibor played the violin, and surrounding inhabitants heard him and sent food up to him. After a while, the violin went silent, and the astonished residents understood that Dalibor had been executed. Today, the tower is a must-see for many visitors to Prague, with some claiming hearing the sounds of a violin drifting through the high windows. It is also thought that the sound isn't a violin at all, but rather Dalibor's high-pitched screams while being tortured into confessing his crimes. Fier Railway Station. As far as railway stations go, Albania's Fier Station is only a platform for traveling from one location to another. However, numerous travelers who have taken the trains here have claimed witnessing the ghost of a woman who perished on the tracks a long time ago. So people who have been forced to spend the night at the station for whatever reason have reported hearing the ghost cry for hours on end. Tourists looking for even more creepy excitement frequently visit the village of Vuno, where the spirit of an old woman who is thought to have been a witch still roams around in her home and throughout the town. If you want to experience Albania's spooky side, head to Shkodra, where an abandoned fort formerly housed 2 princesses and their respective lovers. The princesses were subsequently moved to separate nations, and visitors to the fort claim to hear sobbing from behind its walls even after many decades. Then there's Barrett Castle, where the souls of fallen soldiers roam the hallways and the ghost of Lady Maria refuses to rest. Instead, she floats around the castle's corridors each night. Loshica Manor. Belarus, a landlocked country, has over 4,000 lakes, many of which freeze over during the winter, providing opportunities for ice skating across huge expanses. This, combined with the Brest Fortress, Duduki Museum, and various theaters, provides an amazing visitor experience. Belarus has a rich and adventurous past that involves war and devastation. Mir Castle, one of the country's most prominent tourist attractions, is also where soldiers' corpses have been seen hovering around the grounds. Some visitors have even seen the ghost of a little girl who drowned in a pond in the castle's expansive main garden. The most well-known Belarus ghost is the ghost of Loshica Manor. Jadwiga Konevich, being 20 years old, was married to Evstefy Libansky. The pair enjoyed hosting elaborate parties and asking everyone in Minsk to attend. But, as luck would have it, things turned sour when Evstefy discovered his wife's infidelity. After a heated argument, Jadwiga fled the mansion and vanished. Her husband discovered her body in a neighboring river hours later. Evstefy, heartbroken, planted an apricot tree by the river in memory of his wife. He died shortly afterward. It is stated that when the apricot tree blooms near the river, the soul of Jadwiga appears. She wears a long white robe and whispers the future to couples who come to the place. Dead Nude Gods. Although Belgium is a small country, it should not be overlooked when planning a trip to Europe. Belgium has wonderful experiences such as historic castles, distinctive fashion selections, and delectable cuisine. Bruges, the city of West Flanders in the Flemish area, is one of the best sites to sample authentic Belgian chocolate, admire complex ancient buildings, and hear some very terrifying ghost stories. One of the most well-known spooky stories is about a nun named Hortense Dupont, who lived in the mansion of Dead Nude Gods near the River Rye. On the other side of the river sat a monastery where a nameless monk would slip out every night to see Hortense. He accomplished this by utilizing an abandoned tunnel leading from the monastery to the nunnery. Hortense attempted to put an end to these visits. The monk became upset one night, as Hortense attempted to exit the situation. He stabbed her to death, then buried her body. The crime occurred on Dead Nude God's side, where Hortense's ghost occasionally appears in full view of visitors. Some people have claimed seeing the monk's apparition at the nunnery. It is stated that he is attempting to seek Hortense for forgiveness, but he is unable to reach her in time. When midnight falls in the silent nunnery, the spirits vanish, only to retell their sorrowful story the next night.